Hi everybody, TJ Mack Vintage Cards and Nostalgia here. And in today's video I'm doing a response to Don of Don's Field of Dreams Cards. And Don's one of the great members of this community. Him and I started our channel around the same time in November 2020. It's been a lot of fun watching his channel grow. He's very active in the community. He's got a wonderful collection, and I do watch all his videos. Just a great member of this community. Now, I don't often do video responses just because I only do one, maybe two videos here and there a week, and it's hard because there can be a lot of video responses out there, and I want to do my own content too, of course. So oftentimes my videos are pre-recorded, but it just worked out that Don was doing this contest. It's open for quite a while, so it's given me some time to put a video together here. And what Don's asking us to do is to show off cards, memorabilia, or some item that we have some sentiment with, some connection from the past. And what I have here today are some 59 Topps cards. And seeing these cards will always remind me, going back to around 1987, 1988, one of my dad's friends had come over, and he had a shoebox full of 1959 Topps baseball cards. And I thought it was cool because this would have been also around the same time my dad would have been collecting, late 50s into the very early 60s. And it was just neat to see the cards that he may have owned back at that time and to see it through one of his friends. And he had asked that I'd go through these cards for him. He, had some 9-pocket pages, or I think he actually gave me some money. I went out and got some 9-pocket pages and some penny sleeves. And I started sorting through them and just organizing these cards for him. It was really my first experience with a lot of vintage cards. I had, a couple cards here and there, but to see cards from the 50s and to actually, witness these players that I was likely reading about around that time and would hear stories of my dad about was just so much fun. And I just fell in love with this set. I just love the colors. It has such a wide palette of colors in the set that it draws me right to them. And it's one of the reasons why I probably love colors so much in cards, is because this was such a great set to get exposure to as a first vintage group. And I just thoroughly enjoyed it. So with that, I'm gonna remove these top cards, and I'm gonna somewhat recreate what it was like. There were more cards in the box than what I have here, but it was a lot of fun. And these cards wouldn't have been in sleeves at the time like some of these are. But imagine just opening this up and just seeing all these, cool cards right before you. You got a team checklist here, the Cincinnati Redlegs, which is just awesome. And it's an unmarked checklist in the back here. Whoop. You can see it right there. Just learning about the different players. Got the first initial and last names there. And just to go through, here's a Yankee. The Yankees were the team, one of the big teams of that day. You got Tony Kubek there, the second base or shortstop, from those teams. And just to go through and to see these different players, of course, you got Billy Pierce and Robin Roberts. And I was just thumbing through these cards, and one of the cards that was in the box that just drew me right in, because it was the first time I ever held one of his playing days cards in my entire life, was, of course, the great Mickey Mantle. And it was not his regular issued card in the set. It was the All-Star card. And you can see it right here. This is not the original from that day, but I purchased this one later on. It was amazing just to hold that Mantle in my hand. And you don't know how bad I wanted that card. And, of course, it wasn't mine to take. It was part of his collection. And just to have the chance to hold that card was so cool, because even back then, Mantle was synonymous with baseball card collecting, and he was my dad's favorite player, and it was just magical holding that card. And when I got back in the hobby around 2000 as an adult, I started collecting the 30 key card runs that I've talked about, that I've shown in my display cases, and I've done profiles on just the 30 cards. They're not all-star cards or anything like that. They're just the regular issued cards of key players in the sets from 56 to 89. And I did make some exceptions. I added some cards, of course, beyond that number, and I still continue to do that. And one of them was this Mickey Mantle, just because it was such a special card, and I had that connection with it, being, again, it was the first one that I ever held in my hands. And what I did a couple years ago is I gave this card to my son, my oldest son, who is a baseball player. He does, travel ball, little league and all that. And he wears number 7 every single year. And this year for his latest team, he's on a new team now. And he's primarily a pitcher and a shortstop, not a center fielder. And when he was handing numbers out, the number 7 was about to be taken by somebody, and he had given the same number that he wanted to be. And he was just about to say, okay, I'll be number 6, which was Mantle's first number when he came up. But then the guy said, oh, no, I don't have to be 7. I'll be number 5. So he was thrilled that he still got to be the mixed number. And again, that was the number that my dad wore as well when he played Little League. So just that special connection. I gave this card to him because he's a card collector as well. And I know how much he appreciates it. And this is something that he's always going to have and treasure for the rest of his life. And you can see on the back here of the card, the Bazooka, the Chew of Champions. And I just, love this set. And every time I see the cards from this set, I think of that day going through those cards and just, looking at them through young eyes and just exploring through them and just seeing all these players, just some of the legendary names. And I'm going to show you some of the cards that I have now in my collection from this set. You can just see here just the swath of colors in this set. The yellows, the blues, like the orangish color, the black. I mean, that beautiful pink on the Ken Boyer. And I just love to look at these cards. And they're the type of cards that when you display them on your wall, they just pop. If you put them around other cards, they really stand out because of the color arrangement on it. And if you put a full case of 30 cards of these on a wall, it's just such an impressive looking display. And just love the imagery on this card. And I know some might feel that there's not enough real estate for the photo because of the circular image. But again, I like to look at the concept of the design, either looking through a camera or through a fence post and just peeking maybe at your favorite player of that era. Just a wonderful display. I do plan to profile this set in greater detail. I have the Mantle, the Aaron, Koufax, all the big names in the set. I've shown the Gibson rookie before, but here's my maze from this set. Just a beautiful example of this card. You can see the nice bright white cardstock on the back. And then next to him is just the contrast of colors. You got the black inset color with the Frank Robinson, those bright yellow letters, all lowercase there. Logo in the corners. Beautiful cards. Got the Kenny Boyer and Yogi Berra. The Boyer is a fairly recent addition. As many of you know, I've been working on adding a lot of his cards to my collection. Of course, we have Ernie Banks and Brooks Robinson. Banks coming off another MVP season in 59, so he had won the MVP in 58 and 59. Some of these cards, too, would have a dark back here. You can see the back of the Ernie Banks, so you'd have a white back on some, and then some would also have a darker card stock. There's the Roger Maris right next to him. That's a second-year card with the Kansas City Athletics. Yeah, there's the Robin Roberts with the Maris now. And that lighter shade of blue with those red Phillies uniforms and the logo and the yellow. Just, wow, beautiful card. Well, that's all for today. I want to just thank Don for having the contest and just giving us the opportunity to show off some cards that we connect with. And everybody have a great weekend. I just want to wish all the veterans a happy Memorial Day, or Veterans Day, I'm sorry. And just want to recognize their service and appreciate all that they do.